It's the month of February, and the month of February is officially the month of love, right? And you can't get around it, even if some of us love it, some of us don't like it so much, but you can't get around it. And even though the holiday of Valentine's Day is over, you still, if you walk into a Safeway or any grocery store or a drugstore, you are still going to see hearts and candy and probably some starting to wilt, but nonetheless some flowers. Now they're just all on sale, that's all. But it's still in our face, this idea of love. And so because I know that some people have a love relationship with the holiday and some don't, depending on what your Facebook status is, right? We here every week had the intention of talking about affairs of the heart and moving into a heart space that goes beyond romantic love, but really digging into divine love and the heart of our dreams. And today we're going to talk about realigning with our hearts. But I have to back up a bit to last week before we can move into today. So last week we talked about getting to the heart of our dreams. That was what we called it, the heart of our dreams. And we used the word dream as an acronym for helping us move toward our dreams, our God-inspired dreams. Those things that the source of life itself has planted in us, wanting to express through us in that way. So that's so important. I mean, we say our mission here is to open hearts and incubate dreams. And we do that because we don't think dreams come from ego or come from our wanting to, make our mark in the world. I mean, those things may partially be involved. But from a spiritual level, the dreams that we have are planted there by the divine, by God, by essence, by source, by whatever term you want to use, so that it might express itself more fully in this world. So our dreams are God-inspired and are wanted to be birthed out through us. So we used the word dream as an acronym last week. So let's do a quick review and see how we did with remembering. What does D of dream stand for? Deserve your dream. And of course, we talked about how we all deserve it. We have to realize that we deserve it. So D is deserve your dream. E is? R, but it would be R. Yes, let's spell dream properly would be good. First of all, spell it right. Thank you. I love the teacher that's sitting there going, no, it's actually an R that you need to put in there. R stands for? Reach for your dream. Remember, I like that. Remember, yeah, good. But reach for your dream. Then, now the E, and it stands for? Expect the best. The A stood for? Excellent. Align with source. And the M? Manifest your dreams. Yes. Now, we also said, if you recall, we did not deepen into one of those letters. Which letter was it? A. Oh, you guys are good. You were awake last week. I love it. Love it. Love it. We did not do the A last week because I said that deserves an entire conversation on its own. Align with source is such a big topic that we carved it out from last week and brought it over to this week. So here we are today to talk about the A of dream, which is align with source, or the way we're referring to it today is to align or realign, wherever you might be, your heart. But before we do that, I want us to have a heart-to-heart conversation. I know it's always scary. You don't have to answer this. It's a rhetorical question. But have you ever had a dream in your heart that's on you and you want to experience an expression? You know it's God wanting to express as you. And days go by and weeks go by and months go by. And dare I say, years go by. And that dream is still no closer to being made manifest. What is up with that? No guilt. We don't do guilt here. That's one thing we don't do. But I just want to, what's up with that? Well, I can say I've done that, been there, done that, have had that experience. And what is up with that is we have gotten out of alignment with our dream. We have gotten out of alignment with source in that respect to call it forth. And so today we're going to look at a couple of things. One, how do we know that we're out of alignment sooner than being 2 years down the road and we still haven't manifested the dream? Then we oh yeah, clearly I'm out. But how can I know that I'm out sooner to get back in? and then a couple of ways to get back in alignment. All right, so we've got a lot to do today, so strap in, and away we go. Are you ready to strap in? Yeah. Okay, so I want to begin with a sailing analogy. The sailing analogy is this, and I love sailing. I love, my favorite thing, honestly, if I had to pick a favorite thing, just one, is to be on a catamaran sailing through the Caribbean. That is, we have had many a dream, Lonnie and I have had many a dream vacation where we have done that and then we've gone diving on that. But truly, my favorite thing is sitting on the front of the boat sailing. Now, let me be really clear. I don't want to be at the helm, literally sailing. I don't know, I will let somebody else do that. I want to be just receiving that as I sit there and watch this amazing expression of God in front of me. My favorite thing to do. So, sailing, I love it. Think about, we're going to back ourselves up to history, not our history, but prior to us. In the 19th century, the sailing clippers, these big ships, were built, this is before the days of motors, before the days of GPS systems. We had these big sailing ships that would sail, from the Orient to Europe to bring spices and chocolate and silks and all sorts of things. Those ships, big ships, were built for two things. One, to go as quickly as possible to get to their destination, and two, to stay on track. So they got to their destination. They had three kinds of sails. The first sail were called the gallant sails, and they were the big sails that caught the big bursts of wind and moved that clipper along quickly. The second set of sails were higher, smaller. They were called the royal sails, and they caught the smaller, higher breezes, again, to help this ship move as quickly as possible. The third set of sails at the very top of a very tall mast were the sky sails, and they were little sails that didn't do anything to help the ship move fast. They were no good for that, but they had a life-saving job. And that life-saving job was to catch the tiniest wind up there when the wind down here had died down, to keep the boat on course, to keep it from drifting off course. And it drifted off course all the time, but those sails would bring it, the captain would adjust, and he would bring it back into alignment. So the sky sails are our metaphor today for bringing ourselves back into alignment with Source, back into alignment with Source. We are going to today learn how to adjust our sky sails. But before we adjust them, we have to recognize that we're out of alignment in the first place, that we're off course in the first place. And let me ask you this. If you were to think about one way, like it's actually the way, that we can know if we are off course in the moment, and I don't mean 2 years down the road and going, I haven't even gotten to that dream yet. Clearly, you're off course. But before that, way before that, is there a way, one way, simple yet profound way for you to know that you are not in alignment? What might it be? Oh, yes, you guys are good. How you feel. If you are not feeling good, you are off course. My friend, if you are not feeling good, you are off course. Now, let me be really clear. I do not mean to do spiritual bypass and just, everything's fine when it sucks, right? Because every now and, can I say that word in church? I think so. I just did it, so I guess I can, right? Yeah, sometimes life just, it's icky, and we feel bad, and we're hurt, or we're upset, or we're angry, or we're in grief. I mean, all of those things. And we have to feel them because we're human, and we need to feel those human emotions. It's really important. But if we stay there, that's when we get ourselves off course. It's interesting, the experience we had here last night, it was a celebration of life of an amazing singer, Ramon Pratt, who was a New Thought singer for 20 years and made his transition at the end of last year. And we had the honor of doing an outrageous celebration of life for him last night. And it's interesting for me because sometimes we think, I'll get back to that in 1 second, sometimes we think that feeling good simply means, yippee, yahoo, fantastic, doing cartwheels, in zone, happy dance, kind of feel good, right? That's the only kind of feel good there is, and anything else is not feeling good. It can be that, and that's great if we're there. But feeling good can also just be solid and anchored and sure. And last night, I had that. even though I'm going to do it again. There were parts of last night that I was so incredibly sad. I was so sad to have lost this brilliant light in the world. And as we were reminded of who he was, and we had these incredible singers here singing music that meant something to them and to him, that they had sung as duets. And I mean, I was in tears most of the night. I was. So we might say I was feeling bad. No, I wasn't. It wasn't that kind of bad. It was an anchored, centered, sure, just emotion. Actually, it was love is truly what I was feeling. So sometimes we can interpret bad, that we're not feeling good. That's not the kind, though. It's the angry and the upset and so you know the difference, right? And so our feeling good can range from yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay here to I may be even sad in this moment, but I am anchored, I am solid, I am clear. And I had that experience. I didn't really realize it until standing. I didn't even say this in first service because I didn't get it. I just got it right now that I had that experience last night. I was on a coaching call this week, a powerful coaching call, and the coach said another metaphor. This is a metaphor day, by the way, she'd actually heard it from Abraham Hicks and passed it on to us. I had never heard this from Abraham Hicks, that the rumble strips in the road can be a beautiful metaphor for keeping us, for how do we feel. And I have to tell you, I didn't know what a rumble strip was. But didn't know. But I got the drift. He wasn't expecting that, so no, I caught him off guard. Right. I got the drift of what it meant as we were talking. But then I decided to look it up in Wikipedia to really describe it. So let me describe to you what a rumble strip is for those of you who are going, what? A rumble strip is also known as a sleeper line, alert strips, audible lines, the corduroy, growlers, drift lines, drunk bumps, and woohoo boards. Woohoo. Actually, woo-woo, I don't know why. W-O-O-W-O boards. They are a road safety feature to alert inattentive drivers of potential danger by causing tactile vibration and audible rumbling transmitted through the wheels into the vehicular interior. Now you know what I'm talking about, right? A rumble strip is applied along the direction of travel following either an edge or the center to alert drivers when they drift from their lane. Our emotions, our feelings are our rumble strips. Are we within the rumble strip of feeling good? And there's room in there, but are we in there? Because if we are in there, we are in alignment. If we are out of there, we're drifting. And if we do not set our sky sails and get back in, it'll be 2 years down the road, and that dream will not have manifested itself yet. So the first thing is to pay attention to your rumble strips and how do you feel, and get back in line. So how do we get back? How do we set those sails? I'm going to give you 2 examples, and actually they come from another metaphor. So 3 metaphors today: rumble strips, sky sails, and now this one. If you were here last Sunday, you recall that I showed a little 15-second, 20-second video of a little boy, 5-year-old little guy, climbing with no assistance whatsoever up onto a very big horse. Remember that? We used it as a lesson of being committed to reach your goals. And man, it took everything he had. He'd slip off, he'd get back on, he'd slip, he'd go down. He wound up getting on backwards, remember? Then he had to turn himself around. It was adorable. And I said at the end, there are 2 things that happened in this that are a metaphor for being in alignment with Source. One of them was how that big horse just sat there patiently waiting for that little guy to get on. That's metaphor 1. Metaphor 2, for those of you who were here last Sunday, remember, what did the little boy do once he got himself up on that, turned around and settled? What did he do? He reached out and he loved his horse. He gave it gratitude and love. So those 2 things, those are our sky sails this morning. So what do I mean by the horse being patiently waiting, being a metaphor for life, for how we get in alignment with Source? Well, the truth is, capital T truth, is that Spirit, Source, God, divine energy, life, whatever you want to call it, is patiently waiting for you to manifest your dreams. but it's not going to come after you. That horse didn't do anything to help the little guy get up, but it was there. It was ready. It was ready. It actually did do something to help. It just waited patiently for it to be there. Everything that was needed was right there. The little boy just had to climb up on it. So Spirit, Source, waits patiently for us, but we have to do the climbing. But patiently waiting, everything we need right there, right available, we have to know that that's going on. That's a sky sail, to simply realize that that is happening. We didn't coin it, but we made it our term a year ago. It was a year ago, January. I did a talk on one Sunday on a term. And I said, I want us to put this term into our vocabulary. And it's this term I'm talking about. Does anybody remember? And I'm really testing your memory now. Anybody? Phil, you said it in first service, so let's see if somebody else gets it. Anybody know the term? Rock on. Yes, Marianne. Yeah, pronoia. Pronoia. Opposite of paranoia. Paranoia is the false belief that everyone's conspiring against you, right? Pronoia is the true belief that the universe is conspiring for your good. The true belief that the universe is conspiring for your good. And while it will not overtly come and get you, it's waiting. And everything is waiting in the wings, just like that big horse sat there waiting. It's waiting for you to take action and have faith in it. To have faith in it. I love this quote from Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook. He said, we are surrounded by an infinite possibility. That's the horse just waiting there. It is goodness, life, law, and reason. In expressing itself through us, it becomes fully more conscious of its own being. Therefore, it wishes to express through us. It can pass into expression through us only as we consciously allow it to do so. Therefore, we should have faith in it and its desires and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever need to have done. That last sentence is our definition of pronoia. That last sentence is how we set our sail. We have faith in an infinite possibility and in its desire and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever wish to have done. Booyah. There it is. If I had a microphone, I'd like drop. I have one, but I can't drop that. I can't drop that. Wouldn't have the same effect at all if I drop that. So, right. So Rob Bresney has written a book called Pronoia, the Antidote to Paranoia. And I want to read a passage that I've tweaked just a little bit to make it fit for us, that can fit for our lives, but I also want you to think about it in the context of our nation right now and kind of the divisiveness that is in our nation and all the challenges that it appears we are facing right now as a nation. No matter what side of the fence we sit on politically, we could all acknowledge that we got a lot of stress and strife and fighting going on and strong differences of opinion. I mean, Lonnie and I actually watched Saturday Night Live for a little bit last night after we got home. And it was the first episode, it was a rerun of the first episode after the election. And it was wild. But the host of it, the MC, an African-American man, was talking about how, right now there are white people in Portland rioting. I mean, white people in Portland are rioting? That just doesn't happen. Anyway, so we have some divisiveness, right? We know that. So think about this passage in the context of our experience that we're having now as a nation, and also for you in building your dreams and your being pro-annoyed. He says, let us release the cult of doom and gloom and embrace the cause of zoom and boom. Let us laugh at the foolishness of evil and hate as we summon the brilliance of peace and create. No matter how upside down it all may appear, let us have no fear because we know this big secret. All of creation is conspiring to shower us with blessings. Life is crazily, brazenly, and innocently in love with us. The universe always gives us exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. There it is. That big, beautiful horse symbolizes the universe. There, everything that little boy needed was right there, waiting for him. It is the same for us. Our dreams are waiting for us, patiently, lovingly, all lined up. We just have to climb aboard, set our sail. The second thing that little boy did was reach out and pet that horse, gave it love and gratitude. Now, that horse may have needed that love and gratitude. God does not need, I'm just going to tell you this. I hope this doesn't burst your bubble. God doesn't need our love and gratitude. God loves us unconditionally. God does not need our love and gratitude. But we need to offer our love and gratitude. We need to do it for ourselves, to open our hearts to be more causative, to be more creative. So the second idea here to set that sail is that as we are climbing on the horse, as we are listening to divine guidance, as we are following it, paying attention to little, even micro demonstrations along the way, we stand in deep and abiding gratitude for every little thing. For every little thing. And what I know, and I don't know this because Ernest Holmes said it, I don't know it because another minister told me or that I learned it in a class, I know this because it is my life and my experience that the more we do what I just said and add that gratitude piece, the quicker things start to happen and shift and change and manifestation happens quicker and quicker and quicker. I'm going to give you an example of this. It happened to me on Friday, but I have to back up a tiny bit to set it up. First thing to set it up is, last week I had a call from a congregant asking if we have an estate lawyer in our midst. We don't, so I had to tell her no. I didn't worry about that. I didn't fret about that. I didn't even put that into prayer. I just said no. But I had an opening. Well, I would love to be able to have supported her with a yes, that we do. And gee, wouldn't it be nice for us as a community to have a connection with someone who does that? That was the end of it. Friday morning, at about 8 o'clock, I was going to get into church early. It was a full day getting planned for our big event on Saturday night. And so I live right 2 minutes from here, Glendale and 7th Street. And 7th Street, as you may know, is that reverse lane. Somebody in first service called it the suicide lane. Right. That reverse lane, crazy reverse lane. So you can't, it's making left turns and things are a little wacky. I had to do two things. I had to go to Walgreens and buy a few things that I needed for church, and I needed to get gasoline, and I was on fumes. And my car, when I get into the yellow zone, I don't have much time at all. So gas needed to be the first priority, which meant I had to go south, and then I was going to have to come back north and make a left, and how do I do all this? But you know what? I need to do it. So I'm going to get gas. I don't want to stop at this, is it a Shell that's right here? Because it's so dang expensive. I mean, that's expensive. It's really expensive. And a half a mile down on 7th and Bethany, it's a lot less expensive. I'm going to go down there, even it will require a left turn in that, But I'm like, okay, that's where I'll go. But just as I'm getting close, and I see, by the way, it costs $209, I think was the price, $209. Good price, much better than $245, which was what it was closer. I know, big difference. Big difference in a half a mile. Half a mile, big difference. Yeah. Anyway, Spirit said, you know what? There's another Circle K a half a mile down the road at Missouri, and it's on the right side. Go there. It's only half a mile. You'll make it. You're not that much out of gas. You'll make it. So I did. I followed. You listen, we follow, right? Universe is inspired for our good. I go there. So the one at Bethany was I said it was 209. It was 215. It was 215. I get to the one in Missouri. It's 209. It's 6 cents cheaper. I'm like doing my happy dance. Now, one might say, big deal, 6 cents. No, it's a big deal. I was happy about that. I was in gratitude. I was in such gratitude. Because one thing I am really focusing on this year is increasing my personal prosperity and my personal abundance. And there was an example of it right there. I'm spending 6 cents a gallon less than I thought I was going to. So happy dance, got my gas, made an easy left turn coming back up. And then my heart went, oh, I want something. And I was trying to decide, is this a spirit nudge or a chocolate nudge? Right. Sometimes those are hard to discern the difference. Just saying, sometimes. But there's a Starbucks right there at Missouri and 7th, right? And I had somebody in first service go, there's nothing wrong with going to get coffee, Michelle. I said, oh, no, it's not just coffee. It's mocha, but it's a fancy thing. So I'm debating. I'm having this argument. No, don't get it. Yes, I want it. Don't get it. It's a cold day. All this nonsense going on. But I just actually stopped and listened, and there was something in me that just said, go. Just go. You go. So I did. I went in. Wasn't very crowded. Got my coffee, ordered. I'm waiting, and there's a woman standing there. She's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and we're kind of like, we know each other, don't we? And I'm scanning the congregation in my mind going, I don't think she goes to church. I don't think she's a CLF-er. Who is she? And I said, I think we know each other. He goes, yeah, I think we do. She said, I think we know each other from a long time ago. I said, really? She goes, yeah, like a long time ago. She said, I used to own Cadillac Cafe. Anybody remember that? Anybody? It's a restaurant. Yeah, lovely restaurant. She said, you worked for a law firm, didn't you? I went, yes, a long time ago I did. She said, we catered events at your law firm a lot. Your name is Michelle, isn't it? Whoa, yes it is. Good. And she said, didn't you become a Unity minister? I went, well, close. I said, not Unity Religious Science. She said, well, my aunt became a Unity minister. I love that philosophy. And she said, I'm now a lawyer. Really? Of course, you see where this is going, don't you? Right? She says, I'm now a lawyer. She said, but I also teach yoga, and I teach mindfulness to lawyers, so it helps me keep my fingers in my spirituality while I do my work in the world. And then, of course, I had to say, so tell me, what kind of lawyer are you? And the answer was? Again, bada-ding, bada-dung. And there it was. And woo-woo, right? That could be woo-woo. That is how it works. When you work it, this is how it works. So, we use our rumble strips. We use our emotions as our rumble strips. How am I feeling? Am I feeling in that range of good from yippee-ki-yay to settled and secure and solid and anything in between? If I'm not there, if I'm outside of that, I am out of alignment. So notice that, and then set your sky sails by recognizing that the universe is absolutely conspiring for your good, and that as you move forward in that attitude, listening, following, and being in gratitude for even the tiniest little things, your ability to bring that dream, whatever it has been, into fruition will happen, and it will happen really quickly. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. I like to make these personal. And I think there's, it's fine to sit here and listen to an interesting talk and maybe laugh a little bit and get a good idea, but if you don't make it personal, applicable to you, then it doesn't do any good. I don't think I've done my job. So, in a deep breath, I want to do my job here. First of all, in this moment, just notice where you are on the feel-good meter. Notice where you are. And if you this moment are not in that zone of feeling pretty good, and even if you are in that zone, we're going to take it a notch up. And if you're not in that zone, we're going to bring you in. So I'm going to invite you to feel into two things. The first one, I want you to feel into something or someone in your life that you absolutely adore. Something about your life that you love. Or someone, it could be a furry, four-legged someone, in your life that you love and gives you so much joy. Just identify that in your mind's eye for a moment and then drop that into your heart and into your feeling. So feel the love for something or someone in your life. Just that activity has moved us either into or higher into that zone of feeling good. And then I want you to take it a notch higher by doing something that it may not, but it may even present a little more of a challenge, but do it anyway. And that is to identify something about yourself that you absolutely love. Something about you that you love. Bring that into your heart right now. So as we move into alignment now with Source by feeling good, we bring into this space a dream that we haven't yet brought fully into fruition. Maybe it's on its way, maybe we're taking steps, maybe it's one of those that's on the list, but nothing has happened on it yet. And it feels so far away and so big that it's a bit overwhelming. Wherever it might be, I want you to bring the notion to that dream that the universe is conspiring to bring that dream into your experience and manifestation. Bring into your heart right now the idea that the universe is conspiring for you to experience this good. And right now, be grateful for something that may or may not have anything to do with that dream. But be grateful if there is something that you know that has related to that dream, even if it's a tiny little thing. Be grateful for it. And if you can't think of anything to be grateful for around that dream, just be grateful for something else. It is in this place that we magnify our ability to experience God as us through the manifestation of our dreams. And so I affirm and know for each of us here as I anchor this now in an affirmative prayer, knowing that God is all there is and God is love and life and truth and purity, knowing that I am that and we are each that. I speak my word for us now that we bring into our lives that which has been planted on our hearts, and we bring it by being in alignment with noticing how we feel, by setting our sky sails, by listening, deeply listening, following, being grateful, and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that the universe stands there just like that big, beautiful horse, waiting for us, just waiting for us. Knowing all this, affirming all this, and seeing this already happening in our lives, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, Source. A big dose of gratitude, not because God needs to hear it, but because my soul needs to feel it. And so we right now feel that gratitude, and we call it good. Oh, so very, very good. And using the words of the Master Teacher Jesus as he concluded his ultimate Father, our Father prayer, I seal this prayer in faith, in trust, and in truth. And so it is.